Hi, and welcome to the third and final segment of the Dell Technologies Medium Business Tech Talk series. I'm Claire Mattis. I'm so excited about today's discussion with Sabine Diedering, Regional Sales Director for Dell Technologies South Africa. This episode will provide insight into the tech trends for medium businesses in 2021 and beyond, and the impact that these trends will have on the survival and success of your business. Amongst the many business challenges that have emerged this year, one stands out: how to enable a dispersed workforce to be productive. The necessity of having an empowered, productive remote workforce has become paramount to business continuity. Sabine, is technology able to facilitate productivity? Going forward, what will work from home look like? What are the trends we can expect?
Well, if you look at what we've achieved this year, where most of us pivoted to working from home, where possible, you will find that we're now entering the next phase, how to be more productive at home. Not just work from home and pitch your laptop on the kitchen table, but become truly productive like you would in an office environment. So there is many things that can add to this productivity at a fraction of the cost. So the laptop is the biggest cost, obviously, and then your network to the house. But if you look at, for example, a second monitor, it can add up to 44% additional productivity. I mean, 44%, that means you get an additional person out of every two people that you equip with a second monitor. And that with that comes the docking station and the keyboard and mouse, but these are small costs. Another thing that we've seen quite a bit is when you're on a lot of calls, whether you're in a call center or you have to attend Zoom calls, is have a good noise cancelling headset. It makes you better able to concentrate on what you have to say on the call. If you do a lot of Zoom calls, get a monitor stand, an ergonomic monitor stand, so that the laptop is at the same height as the monitor. But another thing that is very specific to South Africa is one of these. It's called a power bank, and it recharges your laptop.
What are those for?
So, load shedding, we love it. So you're in the middle of doing something and the power goes down. So my laptop normally charges for about between 6 and 8 hours. I've got a Latitude 7400, which has a very, very good battery life. But even that eventually goes down. So with this, I can recharge the battery full and I can charge my cell phone, which definitely helps to keep you productive if the load shedding is dragging on for longer, or it's not load shedding, it's actually someone blew up the power station or something. So these are many of the things that we do, and we call them ecosystems for our customers. So the right laptop obviously is critical, but the peripherals are just as important and now at the fraction of the cost. So we have ecosystems, for example, for graphic designers, which are different to an ecosystem for someone like me who mostly does email and Zoom calls. But please, we're more than happy to discuss it with you, your specific requirements. What does your staff do at home? A call center agent needs a different setup to a graphic designer. We're happy to help.
The number of users who are working remotely and on the go has increased exponentially. So security must be a huge concern for medium businesses. With breaches now happening both above and below the OS, you need intelligent solutions that prevent, detect, and respond to threats wherever they occur. What trends can medium businesses expect in the security space?
Well, you touched on the work from home, and obviously that presents new challenges to the endpoint security, because now you no longer have your staff working from an office where you can control the access, and you also have typically a firewall in the office. So obviously you need to have a firewall on work from home as well. You need to have a VPN, a virtual private network, with a two-factor authentication, because now your endpoints are exposed to family members, to tradesmen that might come into your home to do some work, and you never know, if they're legitimate and maybe if they really want to steal some information or get into your system, because the access to the data center and the network still happens predominantly on the endpoint device. Another aspect there is if you, for example, work in a flat and somebody from the opposite side could watch you enter your password through the window in, how you enter your password into the laptop. So all these kind of things point to that you need to have a very stringent security policy for the endpoint devices. For example, we use Carbon Black from VMware for that, but we also, have two-factor authentication, have a firewall, and it's not one security packet, it's a multitude of them. So just having an antivirus is not going to cut it in that environment. Another aspect which a lot of people do not necessarily think about is to create an airtight vault for your data at the data center. Why is that important? Because you could have a ransomware attack, or you could have a disgruntled ex-worker that is, still has access to one of the servers that you long forgotten and forgot to change the password. So by doing that, you can prevent, if your business is hacked that way, that you can't access your data anymore. So we've seen in the last 6 months, many South African businesses have a breach of security of some sort, which is not good. It leads to reputational damage. It could lead to actual loss of data and much more. So again, we need to work with our medium business customers to understand what is their specific risk profile. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, what would the impact be if you are without access to your data for an hour, a day, or a week? And that varies. I mean, if you look at a security company, if they can't access their data for maybe 10, 15 minutes, it's serious. People could die. Whereas if a bank, you can't access the data for an hour, it's super annoying. It will have reputational damage, but no one's going to die. So the risk profile differs from company to company, but no company can survive not having access to the data for an extended period of time. So we would like to work with you to understand what is your specific risk profile, what does it cost you as a business per hour, per day, or per week to be in that situation, and then what is the most critical data that we can put into the secure vault for you. So if something happens, no one can get access, not even any admin person, but we can help you then get that data out of that secure vault, reinstall it on the machines, and you can continue working. So that is the key here, to have an integrated security concept from the endpoint to the data center, and we'd like to have that discussion with you.
Gender imbalance isn't just another challenge that companies need to overcome. It's arguably the greatest threat facing the global tech sector today. The tech sector is facing a talent shortage problem, and there aren't enough professionals in the existing technology pipeline to fill positions that are expected to open in the next decade. How can medium-sized companies cultivate inclusion, create change, and transform the tech sector's greatest threat into its greatest opportunity?
Well, Claire, I think that medium businesses have a distinct advantage. They are able to reach out on a very personal level and foster that kind of inclusion that will attract non-standard tech people into their realm. So what do I mean by that is there is no study field right now that won't have technology. So also broaden your search to maybe students that study an adjacent field, so whether it's mechanics or another STEM subject. But then when you look at the women in that field, we found that if you have a mentor assigned to a female student, they are 60% more likely to finish their studies. And a mentor from a medium business or a large business doesn't have to be a senior person. It could be your most junior person that can relate to the student, but just has the empathy to reach out 2-3 times a year, have a half-hour session with that student, and encourage her to carry on and give her some advice. That's all that's needed. And also internship obviously helps. So we have a number of internships at Dell, which are open to many different background students, but with a view of trying to get at least 50% females into those positions. And then out of the internship, you often will find that a huge number of them, not all of them, a lot of them also might decide, well, it's not for me, or it's not my forte, but many of them say, oh, I never thought technology was so fascinating. So my background is communications, and I did a programming workshop on top of it after I finished studying because I found technology fascinating, but I didn't study IT. And many people that are today in an IT environment not necessarily studied IT. So be open to look for more aptitude than formal skills. Have a mentorship program and have an internship program, and that's definitely something that medium businesses can do, which is low cost, not very intensive in terms of the type of programs you need to put in place. And then you will find that you broaden your pool of talent.
So to recap, it is imperative as a medium business to rethink and redefine the future of work in business. Rolling out a robust work-from-home environment, including comprehensive and end-to-end security solutions, will require you to invest not only in the right devices, but the full ecosystem, from the right monitor and peripherals, which will increase productivity and create seamless remote working experiences. As we look to build a talent pipeline that will last us until 2030 and beyond, medium businesses hold the balance of power in determining whether we'll be successful, and it all comes down to diversity and inclusion. Sabrina, thank you for being here, and we really appreciate your valuable insights.
Thank you for having me. It was a delight to be here today.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you have found the Dell Technologies Medium Business Tech Talk series to be informative. Please reach out to Dell Technologies should you have any questions around your specific technology requirements.